Hi everyone. We can officially say welcome to summer at this point, and I hope it's going well for you. You know, I find hummingbirds to be completely fascinating. And I wasn't even that familiar with them until we started visiting my cousin's Indiana farm years and years ago. She had feeders all over their yard, along with a big trumpet vine that went all the way up their big yard light, and it had orange blossoms covering it that the hummers just flocked to all the time. We often sat on the front porch where there were usually 2 or 3 feeders, and each of them would have like 4, 5, 6 hummers just buzzing around there during that time. And often 1 or 2 of them would like whiz right past your head so that you could hear the hum of their wings as they flew past. It was hilarious seeing them try to chase each other off or dart back and forth as they fought over the feeder. And they can actually be pretty ornery and a little bit territorial and mean. The chatter they make when they're trying to chase each other away is just hilarious. But they're also strikingly beautiful, especially the ruby-throated ones that just seem to glimmer in the sunlight. I've put out a feeder for a long time now in the spring also, and while I've never had quite the success that my cousin did, we've seen lots of the beautiful little birds over the years. Following her instruction, my feeder goes up on around Mother's Day, and within 24 hours I'll see a little visitor out there. And as the temperatures cool down in the fall, again, according to her instructions, I take it down because you don't want to keep them there any longer than they need to be because they do migrate and you don't want them to stay and miss that. We've been enjoying our hummers a lot this year, and we've seen them often throughout the day. Because they're so small, they have to eat all the time. And they eat not only the nectar that we provide, but little insects like gnats and mosquitoes, which make them very beneficial to have around. Plus, they're just amazing to watch as they dart to and from the feeder and hover as they eat. Hummingbirds are a perfect example of the many things which our God created in this world, not just for our pleasure, but for a very specific purpose. At first glance, you'd think a hummingbird was just something to be pretty and to enjoy, but without them, there'd be far fewer flowers that would bloom, because they do a lot of pollination and they're key in that process. And even though we think that there's too many pests like gnats and mosquitoes, think how many more there would be if there weren't a lot of hummingbirds around to fly around our yards and eat them. King Solomon wrote in Ecclesiastes 3, "To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven." Even the tiny hummingbird has a purpose that far outweighs its size. And it's not just to give us the pleasure of watching it. Each one of us has a job to do, a purpose for which God has placed us in this particular time and place. We'll probably never be famous or have our name in history books, but our place here is just as important as the tiny hummingbird. Not only would our world be less than without these small, beautiful, yet mighty creatures, the world would not be the same without any one of us. God's purpose for our lives may not be completely obvious at times, but there's a reason for us to be here. Pastor Bill Hybels wrote, "God made you on purpose for a purpose." From the tiniest living creature to innumerable stars and galaxies, each one has been created by the Master for his purpose and glory. Only through him do we find our true purpose. Have a great day. Bye.